Hey everybody, it's Carol again, and I wanted to add on to my presentation just briefly and review a k-means cluster analysis instead of a two-step. So I'm not sure why I got the wrong one, but I did, and so I read it again, and before I did that I wanted to know a little bit about what was the difference between the different kinds of clustering. And I apologize if I missed this in class, but I found this on this website and wanted to link it for you so you could better understand as well. And I thought it was really helpful. The two-step I think the primary difference between two-step and the k-means is that the two-step defines the number of clusters. And there's several things. It just seems to be more comprehensive in general. There's some methodology with hierarchical methodology. It picks the clusters for you. It can handle scale and ordinal data in the same model. So I can see now why we did this one. So I did. So let's go down and I'll show you what I came up with. I used the 4 composite variables and ran this descriptive first to find the means and standard deviations, and I noted that the social expression was much lower, which is the same thing I saw in the earlier analysis. I generated the z-scores and just some notes to myself to remember that that means the mean is 0 and standard deviation of 1. And then I took those 4 new z-scores for each construct and did a k-means cluster analysis. The number of clusters I set to 2 and kept the maximum at 10. And what came out was 2 pretty different clusters, one high and one low. All of the presences were about the same, which was interesting that nothing deviated significantly, although the social expression is lower in both and just seems to be a trend. The teaching one was high in both, and that seems to be a trend. And running the ANOVA shows me that all 4 were significant, and that the teach and social had a greater effect upon where a variable or where a record was clustered into versus the other 2, which are lower. But there isn't a big difference between COG and social expression or teach and social. And the part that I think is significant is the number of cases down here, because you see there's only 17 in 1 and more than twice that many in 2. So when you look at this, you're thinking, oh my gosh, look at that. But really that's just showing you how much further down it is. But again, this is less than half of the number. Majority are in this cluster. Okay. So like always, I did it again. This time I wanted to see 3 clusters. I mean, what really happens? I know it's doing more clusters is supposed to make it more difficult, but I thought it was very interesting, and so here was the output. You can see cluster 3 is much lower, and these 2 are closer to the mean. But if you look here at the number, 3 is only talking about 3 records. And now the clusters are more evenly split, which was interesting. And then down here in the F-scores, you have 2 that are much stronger, and then less, and then much less. So that was interesting, and they were all significant. Of course, I didn't stop there. Then I was like, what's this cluster membership thing? I want to see that. And then I'm thinking, that's interesting. I wonder what that's like against the course grade. So I ran an ANOVA, and it's not significant. So I go, okay, apparently nothing. And I was like, wow, that's kind of a bummer. Let's see if we can find something. So then I just did ANOVAs until I found one that was significant, and it was age. So, I don't know. There you go. Overachiever at its best. I'll stop there, though, because I know my other video was long. And so I think, hopefully, I've covered what I should cover for the clustering. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon.